All right, everybody, welcome into the Swishlist Podcast, Season 3, Episode 11. We have a ton to cover with you guys today. We're so excited to be here. We're going to discuss the NBA scoring records, and can anyone beat Jordan's 86-87 single-season scoring number? It's a high total. How do we feel about the 65-game rule? What do we do with Kawhi Leonard? What do we do with Luka Dončić, leading the league in turnovers, but second in the league in player efficiency? The Warriors have won 5 of their last 7. I want to talk about the title for this era of basketball, and also what do we do with basketball fandom today in the NBA? Can the Pacers land the number 1 pick, one-on-one matchups? We have a lot to cover with you guys, and I'm telling you, that was not all. So we are so excited to get into this. Roman, let's start by talking about some of these NBA scoring records. I want to ask you this. Will anyone beat LeBron James' all-time scoring record?
The pace that a player would have to be on to break this record is unbelievable. I think it's something like a player would have to average 35 for 15 straight years on playing 75 games every single season, or 30 plus for 20 years and play about 75 games a season. You're just not going to see it. Like the longevity that you would have to have as a player with the 25 plus a game, I don't think we're ever going to see it. Even the guys who do average 35 usually back down to about 30 only for a couple years. So the consistency that a player would have to have for 20 plus years, I don't know if we ever see it, because you have guys like Luka who's averaging 35. Right? Do we think that Luka will even play 20 plus years? I don't think so. He doesn't think so either. He says it all the time that he's not going to play that long. Giannis has said that it's his goal to break it. But at this point, he's in year 13, year 14. And he's had a few years where he's averaged less than 15 points per game. So that's going to happen. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. It's a player to come into the league, immediately average 25 plus, and then average 35 in their prime for 15 plus years. I don't know if we're going to see that.
I know a lot of guys want to talk about how if you put Jordan in today's era, he'd average 45, or some of these guys from previous eras. The biggest thing, though, truly is the health that you have to sustain. And then you also have to be a 20-point scorer immediately, right? You have to walk into the league, be a great scorer, and then sustain that forever. You can't have any ACL tear or Achilles tear where you lose a season. And we don't see anyone in the history of basketball that plays at this level at the age that LeBron is. He's still putting up 30 points in a game, high 20s in games. And so he's just making it that much more difficult for someone to catch up because he's still going. And this isn't his last season. So you have another season, another couple thousand points that he's probably going to add to this total. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's a great point. Like the Robert Parrish, guys who play super long are usually not very good. They're not top dogs in the league. Maybe they have a couple years where second best center in the league or something like that. But to be as athletic as LeBron James, as dominant of a player, and as good of a player, as many all NBA first teams, second teams, third teams that he has made, and to continue to do it in year 23, I don't think we will ever see that happen again. I don't think so.
So let's switch gears a little bit. I want to ask you this. Can a player beat Jordan's 86-87 single season scoring number? He scored 3,041 points. This guy was averaging 37 points a game. We have a couple of players who have gotten close, right? James Harden averaged 36 a game. He had like 2,800 points in a season. Kobe averaged 35 a game back in 2005. But in today's league, do you think there's anybody, or give me a couple players who you think could break that Jordan single season scoring number?
The type of player that would have to do it, I think, would be right now, if there was a player in the league, I would give it to Giannis, Jokic. I don't even know if I would give it to Shea. Just a consistent, 30-piece. It's if he's going to give you 50, it's crazy. But like, you would need a few games where Giannis or a Jokic is going to go for 55. They're going to go for 60 along with their triple-double. And they're going to play 82 games. Because I know Michael Jordan played 82 games that season. He played 82 games, I think, in 5 of his seasons. And that's one of them. So averaging 37 points per game over 82 games, the entire season. And players will just take games off now. You didn't see that back in the 80s. So there was two players I can think of. It's Giannis or Jokic who would possibly play 82 games, and you have your 50 pieces, 60 pieces, along with random games of 20 that would average it out. But, I mean, even Luka's not averaging 35 a game. So averaging 37, I don't know if a player's ever going to do that. I don't think that one will ever get broken. Oh, Bridges is the only person that's playing like 82 games this season. You don't have your stars playing 82.
Well, and with players sitting out, it's not always the player's choice, right? Sometimes it's the organization that's saying, hey, you're not playing tonight. And so even that can hold some of these guys back. I don't know. Like, I think Jokic could do it. I really do. I think Jokic could do it. I know that he's got the injury he's dealing with right now, but his play style, I think, and his ability to score the ball without requiring athleticism is what it would take to play 82 straight games. And he is unstoppable offensively. So I think if he had a season where he stopped passing the ball so much and just decided he was just going to score the ball at will, I actually think it's possible that he could do it. But I don't know if there's anybody else in the league that's capable of it right now, because I don't think Giannis is going to be able to stay healthy enough at any point in his career from today moving forward. So, Jordan, we might just have to give that one to you.
It's the shot attempts, bro. I can't agree with you more. Michael Jordan was taking 28 shots a game. Okay. So realistically, guys who average 30 plus are taking 20 shots a game. I think Luka takes about 20 shots a game right now. So if you gave Jokic 28 shots a game, I think he's 100% doing it. But
it's not only that. He averaged 11.9 free throw attempts as well.
Hey, stars now are getting more than that.
Hey,
like, if Jokic really did it, but this is the thing is, when Mike did it, it's not like they were competing for a championship. So it would have to be like a bad team, or not even a bad team, but just a player being like, okay, I'm going to take 25 plus shots every single game, and I know I can average 30. So if Jokic truly was just like, I'm taking 28 shots a game just to see what it's like, then he would do it. I have no doubt in my mind.
It's like if Jamal Murray was out for the season game 1, and it's like, Jokic, you have to carry us for the entire year. You're just going to shoot the ball 30 times a game. That's what it would take.
Agreed. If Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon both got hurt through the entire season, then Jokic would do it.
Okay, on the topic, especially where Jokic has been injured, I want to talk about the 65-game rule. There's a lot of back and forth right now. Draymond Green says LeBron deserves to be in the All-Star game because he's LeBron James. You've got Jokic, who is the greatest player in the league, but with him missing a month of time with the knee injury he's dealing with right now, he's probably not going to hit that number of he's not going to hit the game total. And so now we're looking at these All-NBA players that are being selected, the NBA awards that are being given out, and guys like DeMarcus Cousins are saying this is impacting legacies because we're going to compare these guys with the historical players. And because of this rule, they're not going to be able to stack up. But those historical guys were playing more than 65 games. So what do we do with the rule?
I think a slight lessening of the games. I feel like 65 is a reach for what the game is right now. I think something closer to 60 is better. I think there's a lot of guys who are going to, you're seeing it with Jokic right now. You're seeing it with Luka right now. Like the averages of how much they're playing. It's like, are they going to make it? We don't think so. They might be able to make it. At first it seemed good. Like, okay, you can miss 17 games. But now it's like, if you miss 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's like, yeah, you can't miss any more games throughout the season. So, and with the amount of injuries that is going on with the league, I don't know. It just seems like the cap is too much for players because, like we see it now, it's like the MVP race might even just be a joke now because it's just like, obviously we know who was the best player, but he didn't meet the requirement. And it's like, we really put a requirement.
LeBron in 2011, that was the lockout year, so it doesn't count. And then same with Giannis.
2020.
They were both reduced seasons. This is the thing, is the only player to win MVP to play less than 65 games and the season wasn't reduced is Bill Walton with 58 games back in the 70s. So that's the other side of the coin, is even though he is the best player, there really isn't precedence for this, like over the course of the totality of the history of the league.
I don't know what we do with this. I really
Okay.
don't, because guys
Okay.
are getting hurt, man.
Okay. So here's my thing is you probably could leave it for the MVP because you got to play to win that regular season award. I would understand that. But all NBA is probably where things have to be adjusted slightly. We can't have Jokic not be on the all NBA teams. That just doesn't make sense to me.
I agree. You can't have your shoe-ins. Yeah.
Lower the thresholds for all NBA, but keep it for MVP. I think you could make that argument.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, strictly MVP, because we've seen the
Yeah.
numbers. It just doesn't happen. But yeah, like all NBA, there's no reason a guy should be left off of all NBA first or second team, because he played 59 to 62 games. He played 5 to 7 games less than what he was supposed to get the award. I agree. And with all NBA, I feel like a 50 game minimum, something like that. You play the majority of the season. I think 50 to 55 is reasonable, because then it's not like this guy only played half the season. If you're getting 50 to 55 games in minimum, then it's completely justified. It's not like you played half of a season. But 65, it seems like in the league that we're in today, is reaching. It really is.
What can we expect now from the Denver Nuggets? They've had so many players that have been injured up to this point in the season. Jokic now is out. They've got a couple players returning. They're sitting currently in the NBA standings as the 3 seed. What do we expect out of the Nuggets now that we are in the middle of the season?
I think you just got to be happy with whatever wins you can get from January. You're missing the best player in the league now. Jamal Murray's going to put a lot more on his shoulders. We're probably going to be seeing some 35 and 12 game performances from him. Aaron Gordon might have a random another 50 piece. Christian Brown's coming back into the rotation. Like, they get key players back who don't have the best player in the league. So I think January is going to be a not so good month for them. They're going to lose to some sorry teams. They may have some close games with some good teams, but I think you're just going to have to take whatever comes with it. And as long as you stay in that 6 seed range, then you're happy with what comes from it. Because as soon as Jokic comes back, we know that this team is a contending team. But because the race is so close in the West, you just kind of have to be okay with what January brings.
The truth about the West is, regardless of what seed you're in, you're going to have to play the Thunder, the Spurs, the Rockets, the Lakers, or the Wolves, right? Like, none of those teams are easy outs for sure. And I genuinely believe that where Jokic is today, it doesn't matter what their seed is, because you got to play these guys no matter what. And it reminds me of back when LeBron was in Cleveland and he didn't care about getting the number 1 seed. He didn't care if they were the 2 seed, the 3 seed, whatever seed they were, because he could just run through the East. Now, I'm not saying that Jokic is going to run through the West. What I am saying is you're not dodging somebody in the West at this point. Like, it is a gauntlet no matter where you land in terms of seeding. So I agree with you. As long as they can stay out of the play-in, and then I think they're totally fine.
January is one of the most important months of the NBA, leading up to the All-Star break for a lot of teams, because usually we've seen the breakdown year by year. Usually where a team goes into the All-Star break, you don't change that much from there. The top teams are going to stay at the top. Mid teams are going to stay in the middle teams. Bottom tiers stay at the bottom. So could be interesting. But like we've said, if you're the 6 seeded Nuggets, you like your matchup versus your 3 seed. So and this isn't an injury where Jokic is going to come back and be a different player. This isn't Giannis coming off of a calf injury, coming off of a hamstring injury. This is Jokic got his foot stepped on and hyperextended his knee. It's not like he even needs his knees that much to play the way that he plays. So as soon as Jokic comes back, we just get Jokic back. Maybe he's a little out of breath the first couple games, but it's Jokic. So I think if you're a Nuggets fan, you're perfectly fine. It just kind of sucks that you don't get to watch Jokic play for a month.
Roman, how do you feel about Denny Avdija's game right now?
One of the promising young players in the league. I think the thing that you're going to be leaning towards is probably the free throw conversation. I believe he leads the league in free throws, and he's not up there leading the league in points, but he's one of the most efficient drivers in the league. And the Western Conference, they're in the lower tiers, the Trailblazers. So if you're looking at a person who needs to take over a team, he kind of has to. Definitely a foul baiter. Definitely a guy who's going to attack the arms. He's going to get in the lane and he's going to sell contact. I think, 50 more free throws at this point than Shea, however many games in we are. But I don't have too much of an opinion on him because, like I said, he attacks the rim a lot more than people would expect. And he's one of the best players in transition as well. Like, he's going to get his foul calls. So that's what I've got on him.
I loved watching Portland play the Thunder.
It's always fun watching the Oklahoma City Thunder play another player who is, quote unquote, foul baiting, because you get to see, you're a hypocrite at that point.
Yeah.
You see Shea freak out. You see Lou Dort freak out over every foul call. It's just great to see them get the feeling back because they do get a lot of foul calls.
Well, so obviously it was like a 30-point blowout, but my favorite moment was Denny goes to pass Lou Dort. Lou Dort does his classic dirty play, sticks the foot out, misses. Then Denny loses the ball and sells the foul call because he just loses his dribble. It is an all-timer. That's an all-timer for me because it truly is what you'd expect from a classic Shea play. So I loved that, just to see them go through that. If they won the games, like, it doesn't matter. But I agree with you completely. Like, when you get to see the shoe be on the other foot, I think every true NBA fan loves to watch that.
Yeah, so shout out to Denny Avdija. He deserves a shout out for being the foul merchant that nobody's talking about on the opposite end of the Western spectrum.
Okay, sticking with the West, JJ Redick.
So with the Lakers' recent offensive struggles, defensive struggles, team struggles, we know their net rating is not good, and they have an incredible record. It seems like every good team that they play, it's a loss by 20 points. Every bad team that they play, it's a close win. And JJ Redick went on record as saying he does not know what to do with his offense. Players forgetting plays and zero organization on the offensive end. Regardless of what is happening there, I think it's so interesting to hear from a coach, I don't know what to do. Like, obviously you want to be honest. Like, at this point, he doesn't know what to do. But if I'm a head coach, if I'm a player, I don't want to hear from a head coach. Or if I'm a fan of the fan base, I don't want to hear my head coach going to the media saying, I'm not sure what to do in the middle or 35 games in. I don't know what to do with this team. It's bad to hear. And obviously, as a coach, he's going to figure it out. I mean, who knows what coaching experience does JJ Redick have, to be honest with you. But as a fan, as a fan of basketball, I don't like to hear a coach being like, I don't know what to do. We're just bad. Like, obviously, it's realistic to say it. And we know JJ Redick is the ultimate realist. Like, he's just going to say how he feels. But I feel like as a leader, as the guy who's supposed to instill confidence in your players, it just comes off bad to me for a coach to just be saying, I don't know what we're doing offensively. I don't know what we're going to do. But then I look on the opposite side of the coin, and he's got one of his players that's in his age group out there. It's like, how is he supposed to coach this guy, LeBron James? How is he supposed to coach Luka, who just runs the offense?
And
it's going to work out.
And they were teammates.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's been teammates with half of these guys. So it's a weird balance right now. But again, just as a leader, as a coach, I do not like to hear, I don't know what to do.
I believe JJ Redick is using some reverse psychology on the media. He is taking all of the media attention, having it being on whatever he says, and I don't think the locker room cares at all. That's where I think it is. Because obviously JJ Redick has a plan. Obviously, he's not going to come out and say, some of my players, they don't even know the plays. I blame it on the holidays. Like, I just don't think that that's real. I think what that is he's feeding guys like Stephen A. Smith bits that are just completely irrelevant to what's actually happening in that locker room. Now, it is pretty wild that they have a winning record and yet are losing in point differential on the season. It is interesting. He's right. They do need to turn some things around if they truly want to compete for a title. But I actually think this is some JJ Redick reverse psychology. He's taking things out on the media because he may not have a lot of coaching experience, but he's been in the league a long time. He's very well versed in terms of media training. I don't think he's just casually slipping up. He doesn't strike me as the type of guy that would do that. So that's what I think it is. Personally.
It's true. I can think of the clip from DeAndre Ayton after,
and you
I can't remember which loss it was.
Yeah.
He's like, there will definitely be some running going on tomorrow or something like that in this video. Like, you believe that? So that's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, what's interesting to me is Luka right now is leading the league in turnovers, but he's also second in efficiency behind Jokic. What do we do with that?
I can just attest this to Luka's a top 3 player in the league, and he does everything on the court. So he holds the ball more than anybody, which means he's going to turn the ball over more than people who don't hold the ball as much. He controls the entire offense. Like, if there's a possession that's not set play for Rui to come off of the screen or LeBron to set up on the block and get the ball, it's Luka coming off of a pick and roll or Luka just attacking, which means you're going to have some turnovers. So I'm not surprised by the turnover amounts, and he's just an effective player. He's going to score the ball. He's going to make the right pass, but you can't read every possession. So I'm not surprised by the statistic.
The only pushback that I would give you is I look at 2 players that I believe have the ball a lot. Jalen Brunson being one and Shea being the second. Jalen Brunson is 46th in the NBA in turnovers, quality point guard play, and Shea isn't even in the top 50. So you should be able to be more efficient and to not turn the ball over as much if you're Luka Dončić. It can be improved.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I agree. It definitely can be improved. But again, even just naming the 2 players that you named, I don't see them as the all-around player that Luka is. I see them as scorers. So you have an extra 5 possessions that end up in a bad shot. But for Luka, you have another extra 5 possessions that ends up in a kick out to a random person or a lob that sometimes doesn't work out. So again, I think Luka just has way more time of possession, time with ball than those 2 players, regardless.
Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair. I want to stay with this a little bit because I've been just digging into just kind of some interesting stuff happening around the league. Did you know that the Houston Rockets have 2 players in the top 5 for minutes played? It's Amen Thompson and Kevin Durant. Is Ime Udoka Tom Thibodeau 2.0?
First off, KD being top 5 in minutes played. Shout out to him.
Crazy.
Wow. This is year, 18? Year 19?
Yeah.
Top 5 in minutes played?
Yeah, minutes. It's averaged per game, right? Their minutes played per game is the stat. Yeah.
Wow. Well, shout out to KD, but yeah, to have 2 players, I know they've played quite a few overtime games, but to have 2 in the top 5, that is truly a Tom Thibodeau stat. Like, I can think of those Knicks years, the Timberwolves years, the Bulls years, where you had the starting lineup who was top 5 in the league in minutes played because he would play these guys for 42, 43 minutes a game, regardless of what was happening. If you got 2 guys up there in 2025 where you have stars who are sitting 4 quarters, stars who are playing 30 minutes a game, that's a lot, especially for a guy like KD. We might have Tom Thibodeau part 2 right now.
VJ Edgecombe started the season incredibly well, faded a little bit, and now is back to elite level play. What are you seeing out of VJ Edgecombe right now?
Well, he's making the right plays. He's making the hustle plays. I think a lot of the attention to detail for the 76ers goes to Maxey right now. I think Tyrese Maxey is the quickest, fastest, both player in the league right now. If he has the ball in his hands, I don't think anybody can keep up with him. So I think a lot of attention to detail goes to him. And then it's to Joel Embiid because Joel's kind of back right now. He's playing good. So we saw it in a Memphis game. We saw it in a Knicks game. When the important plays need to be made and their top players are getting double teamed, they've been kicking it to VJ for a good-looking three-pointer or just the right play, and he's making those plays. 6 of their last 9 games, he's had 20+. His last 3 have been 20+. They've won their last 3. He's, like I said, he's making the hustle plays. He's not just a young guy who's able to score the ball. He's making the right plays for the team, and he's making the hustle plays for the team. So I think if there's an ideal guard that you want for a young team that's looking like they could compete on the Eastern Conference, VJ Edgecombe is exactly what you need.
Paul George is playing well. My favorite thing with VJ right now is the 2-part highlights. He consistently is making a defensive play into a dunk on the other end, a block shot or a steal that turns into a transition bucket. That's one of my favorite things about him is he's active on both ends of the floor, and that's everything that Philly needs, especially where you've got an older PG and you've got Joel, who is Joel Embiid. What a great draft pick. out of Philly. And he's perfect for the city of Philly. He's perfect for the city. So I'm a huge fan. I hope he keeps it up. Okay. This week, I believe, was Kawhi Leonard's week. He just decided 2026 he was going to dominate. And specifically, he destroyed the Thompson twins in like back-to-back games. What is going on with Kawhi Leonard? Is he's going to get drug tested at this point because this is crazy.
Yeah, so the Clippers have won 6 straight. James Harden's putting up his usual numbers. But for some reason, Kawhi just decided, I'm going to go on a tear. In their 6-game win streak, 32 points, then 41 points, then 28 points, then 55 points, then 33 points, then 45 points. I mean, this is just one of the greatest scoring streaks of his career in general. He's averaging more points per game than he ever has in his entire career. So I don't know what kicked in for Kawhi. Maybe he decided that he doesn't like losing again because he was one of the most winning players before joining the Clippers, and he decided to kick it in gear. But yeah, he's looking incredible. We've always known him as an efficient player, a great defender. He's going to go get the right bucket. But for some reason, over the last 2 weeks, Kawhi is looking like an MVP caliber player again. So shout out to Kawhi for what he's done for the Clippers for the past 2 weeks.
Okay. The Warriors have won 5 of their last 7. They've been on a little bit of a run. I know they lost to the Thunder, but they weren't playing Steph in that game. My question for you is, why doesn't Steph Curry get a whistle? How come there's players that have done less for the league and in the league that get a whistle and Steph doesn't?
Steph he's not looking for a foul. Steph has never been the type of player to look for a foul. Nobody in the entire league moves like Steph Curry does off ball. And I think his movement that he makes not necessarily confuses refs, but it changes how they are looking at Steph Curry, because they're looking at him more as, the off-ball guy, the role player who's trying to get an opportunity for a shot. If you're looking at a kick-out 3 compared to a guy who's shooting a 3 off dribble, you're not going to get a foul call like you usually would. I think this is why Steph Curry doesn't get the usual foul call that stars usually would on a jump shot. But also Steph's just not looking for the call. And then the other side of it is Steph does fall a lot, but I think his falling has to do more with his ankles. He's trying to protect his ankles because he's dealt with these ankle injuries for so long. When Steph attacks the hoop, he falls a lot, but it's not like intentional flopping or anything like that. He's falling to protect himself, and he's also just a smaller guard. But he's just not going to get the calls ever because it's Steph Curry.
You could make an argument the amount of off-ball movement that he does means that a different ref has to be responsible for picking up Steph, depending on where he is on the floor. So he's moving so much that it's rotating the ref that's focused on him instead of him being stagnant in the corner where one guy is looking at him. So because he's moving, they're losing. Maybe the refs are losing track of him. So by the time he gets the ball, the ref that should be making the call isn't aware that Steph's even there at that point. Is that possible?
100%. There's only 3 refs on the court. I mean, I say only. That's quite a bit. But they cannot see everything that's going on. And the more that you move, the more variables that you create for a player holding your arm, a player, setting an illegal screen, those types of things. Like, the more movement that he creates, the more opportunity that he creates to not be seen by a ref at the right moment. So I think that's a great point, that he's just moving so much that they're not going to see as much. And the moment that he gets the ball from his off-ball movement, it's like, okay, which ref is watching? What have they seen the previous 2 seconds that forced Steph Curry into the position that he's in? Like, why is he moving like this? And I think it's part of the reason Steph Curry doesn't get credit for what he's done for the league too. Like, he's one of the greatest playmakers that we've ever seen in the game. But again, he just doesn't get the credit for it. Just shout out to Steph Curry, man.
I think we found how to label the current NBA. I'm talking players drafted after the year 2020. You're seeing rumblings of this on social media. Players drafted after 2020 are bringing in the ethical basketball era. They are bringing back ethical basketball. I want to name some of our favorite ethical hoopers in the league right now. My guys, Wemby, Ant, Cade. I know Halliburton isn't playing right now, but I think he should be on that list. Incredibly fun to watch. Roman, do you have any ethical hoopers in the league right now?
Well, I think back I'm thinking more of my late 2000 teens players. I don't think Kevin Durant's a foul baiter. I don't think Stephen Curry's a foul baiter. I don't think Kawhi Leonard is a foul baiter. Those are the main that I think of. I can't say Jalen Brunson is.
No, you cannot.
I mean, he just post work, but
he wants the foul. You got guys like SGA who are 2019 draft. You've got some of the guys, the majority of the floppers in the league, I think, are older players. You do have some of these legacy guys that don't. I think KD is a pure hooper, true to the game of basketball. And I think you got some legends that are that way. But when I'm looking at the young, here's my thing. We want to talk about how bad the league is and how no defense and all this kind of stuff. But I genuinely think if you watch these young guys play, you will see the basketball that you want to watch. You'll see quality basketball. Wemby plays quality ball. So does Anthony Edwards. So does Cade. So does Tyrese. Like, it's out there. You just have to actually watch the games and focus on these younger players. It's right there in front of us.
I think the opportunity for that really physical, good basketball gets taken away when we're focused on fouls, especially too. Shea immediately gets 2 fouls on whoever's guarding him at the start of the game, which means they have to save those fouls. You don't get as aggressive play the entire game from the entire team because they're just trying to be conservative. But had that not happened, you might see in the middle of the third quarter, Wemby throw Chet to the ground because he's angry that he got caught in the air. Like little things like that you don't get to see from some of these guys because they're wasting their fouls on a bait that got them instead of like, okay, he's on a fast break. I'm going to foul him hard because I need to use this foul. I feel like we're seeing that a little bit less, which creates for more of that aggression that we're looking for with a good matchup. Like I hate the foul baiting, all those kinds of things. It's a term that I think gets a little bit overused with most players, but I don't know. I just feel like we're going to see a lot more of, like you said, the ethical basketball of guys playing the right way. We see hard fouls, but we see the right foul. I'm looking forward to this ethical basketball future.
I think I look at a couple of players that stand out to me. Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant were incredible at drawing fouls. And I think that there was a technical aspect to the way that they drew their foul calls, right? It was pump fake, jumping into Wade was notorious for jumping into a guy. That was like his thing. He would get 1 or 2 of those a game. But I feel like we gave those types of players more credit because it was a technical way of drawing the foul. It wasn't a flop to draw the foul, right? It wasn't like SGA against Golden State where he's falling away. There's not a lot of contact. Everyone's going, how is that a foul call? It truly is. You jumped. That was your mistake. The foul's on you. And so I think that's the discrepancy. There were guys that were drawing fouls before, but there was a technical aspect to the way that they did it. I just think these guys are playing true basketball, and I love it. I'm here for it. Speaking of the NBA, I am a little sick and tired of NBA fandom being so focused on every era that happened before today's NBA. Like, we don't really let the NBA just exist as it stands right now. We're becoming what baseball fans were 10 years ago, where they were so focused on the statistics. They were so focused on bringing up all these historical players. They weren't really embracing their stars. The game was boring. People weren't watching. Now they've made, to baseball's credit, they've made changes. The game's fun to watch. Ohtani is awesome. I really think that NBA fans are getting crotchety. We're getting really weird where we can't just talk about how great Jokic is without bringing up Shaquille O'Neal in 2000. We can't talk about how great LeBron is today without talking about 4 and 6 in the finals and Michael Jordan. We can't talk about any of these great players that are playing right now without somebody saying, well, what about Kobe? But what about this? But what about that? I really think that if you don't love the game, just stop watching it. Just go pull up the games you want to watch on YouTube. Okay, go. It reminds me of my dad when he just decided to stop listening to new music. He just decided that new music wasn't for him anymore, and he was only going to listen to the discography that he grew up with. If that's you, stop watching the NBA. And I think a lot of people, NBA fans today, are too focused on comparing players and trying to compare eras, even though we all say you can't compare eras, that we don't allow the NBA and its players to be great in the era that they're playing in. It's not fair to the 2020s to hold them to keep bringing up 2002. It's not fair to the 2020s to keep bringing up 1994 and comparing the players from a negative standpoint. I think it's awesome to say we haven't seen this since blank, but to say you're never going to be blank, that's where I have a problem.
Yeah, I think the old heads are getting a little jealous, and the conversation, like you said, just needs to be shifted instead of, oh, this team could match. I think OKC is possibly going to have a record that's comparable to a team like the Warriors, to a team like those early 2000s Lakers. And the old heads just say they would never beat them. It needs to be more of, this reminds me of this time. I think era comparison kills anything in sports. You just shouldn't do it at all, unless it's in a positive way. If it's in some way to discredit something that's being done today, no reason that you should bring up eras. I don't think ever. But yeah, I just think we're in such, there's so much youth talent. We have the older guys who are still here in the NBA. Like you said, the appreciation just needs to stay there.
Roman, the Indiana Pacers have a legitimate shot at getting the number 1 overall pick. If the Pacers get AJ DeBosta and pair him with a healthy Tyrese Halliburton, what do we do with that team?
Especially on a rookie contract, you wouldn't have to lose anybody. You could keep your NBA champion Pascal Siakam. You would have your star point guard. You would have your youth and AJ. Just need to find you a legitimate center. Nothing would make me happier as a Pacers fan. Are you kidding me? Let's go ahead and tank this season. That's perfectly fine.
It's the exact addition that the Pacers would need to win the title. They had all of the pieces. Miles Turner was quality. Pascal Siakam was quality. They had a solid bench. Tyrese was doing his thing. I feel like AJ is going to be instant offense when he comes into the league. I think he's going to play on both sides of the floor. I believe that he is a modern equivalent of a Tracy McGrady type of player, personally. That's my ceiling for him. If you get that with a high-end point guard that Halliburton is, we're not talking about the Pacers overachieving. We're talking about the Pacers being right there right now. And when you look at the East, the Pacers can beat anybody. They've already done it.
With the run that Tyrese went on, I think the NBA knows it, that was an all-time run. I mean, that run is being talked about right now, going to be talked about every single year. What Tyrese did last year was absolutely incredible. Like, make no mistake, he's here to stay. He's having an injury, but he's going to come back and still be Tyrese. So I think the Pacers have stamped themselves as a good organization as long as Tyrese is there. So a high pick for the Pacers. It seems like we could be seeing a little Warriors action. I don't want to compare it to that because that's doing too much. But
yeah,
the Warriors have their run. Steph gets hurt. They're able to get a really high pick, and it turns into the pieces that they need to win a championship. And you would want that for a franchise like the Pacers. I mean, we saw it last year. Nobody was mad at the run. You were just mad because they were playing so good or beating your team. But it was the energy that we got from the 2025 playoffs because of what the Pacers did, because of the finals that we got, because of the amount of game sevens that we got from that team. It rejuvenated what we got, what we've been missing for the past few years in the playoffs. So I think an organization like the Pacers getting AJ with the coverage that he gets would be incredible. Okay, Moses, we've got one-on-one matchups for today. I went with a 90s, 2000s theme. There's not too many recent players here. So we're just going to go, we got point guard, 2 center. First matchup, Steve Francis versus Stephon Marbury.
Oh, this is good. This is good. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
You can call me biased because I played in the Starburys my sophomore year of high school. I'm going Stephon Marbury here.
Okay, for our 2-guard matchup, Clyde Drexler versus Ray Allen.
Ooh. prime Ray Allen is a problem, but we're talking about Clyde the Glide. Okay, I'm taking Clyde Drexler here, but it's close. It's actually a conversation.
At our 3 matchup, Andre Iguodala versus Latrell Sprewell.
I don't even think I have to think about this very long. I would take Andre Iguodala.
Fate of the universe.
Fate of the
Give
universe.
me Iguodala.
Give me Iguodala because of the way he plays on both sides of the ball. People forget how good he was with the 76ers when he got the chance to be the number 1 option over there. I know Latrell was a baller, but I like what Iguodala brings in his prime on both sides of the floor.
4 matchup, LaMarcus Aldridge versus Zach Randolph.
Oh, just high-end post play.
Yep. We got LA versus Zebo.
This is LaMarcus Aldridge. I know we love Zebo and the bully that he was, and his bullies get bullied clip, but LaMarcus Aldridge clears.
And for the 5 matchup, Marc Gasol versus Al Jefferson.
Prime Big Al was serious.
Dude was good. Dude was really good. Dude was 20 a game.
But Mark is Defensive Player of the Year. Without being all NBA defensive team. I want you to know that in the head-to-head matchup, it was 11-10 Marc Gasol here.
Oh, it's close.
I know. In a game of one-on-one, I would take Big Al here. I believe he had better post play. I think in 5-on-5, Mark does more for a team, but one-on-one, I'd take Big Al. Roman, you made me work at the end. That was
I spent a lot of I wanted some great matchups there. I tried to, get counterparts to players, but also keep it close enough that there is an argument for both sides.
I like that it was prominent guys without picking the stereotypical guy. That's what I really like.
There's not one all-time player.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. Listen, what a great episode. Season 3, episode 11. I really hope if you're still listening right now that you enjoyed this as much as we did recording it. We're having so much fun. 11 weeks into the NBA season. We got a long way to go, but just every minute's been so great. And we just appreciate the support from everybody on social media. We've seen a lot of success online just these past few weeks. And we're just 2 brothers that are talking about the game that we love, and we make clips, and we hope that people enjoy them, and it's just nice to see the feedback that we get. And so please, if you're listening right now and haven't followed us, we're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're going to be more prominent on Twitter upcoming, so keep an eye out for us there. Of course, on YouTube. Give us a follow. Send this podcast to somebody that needs to learn the game of basketball. And once again, just thank you so much for spending an hour of your day listening to the 2 of us. We just really appreciate the investment in such a busy world to dedicate that much time. It's truly something that what an expression of love. So we appreciate you. Thank you. Roman, send us off.
Happy New Year. Happy 2026. It's going to be a big year for us. Lots of things coming. And like Moses said, we appreciate all the love. We are on all your favorite platforms. If you're not following, if you're not liking, if you're not subscribed, it's getting ridiculous at this point. It's really getting ridiculous. Swishlist Podcast, Season 3, Episode 11. We are out.